Welcome back to the program. Brand new edition this week. We are in the midst of football season, rounding the corner towards the end of it. Soon, what we've all been waiting for, basketball season. But we will talk some football, mostly basketball today though, with one of my absolute favorite players in the state of New Mexico. He was the lone underclassman on that fabulous Sandia team, so he'll be back this year. He was the other starting 5 member of that team. Never skips a leg day. Thomas Adams, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start with that group of guys, man. That had to be a pretty special group. So talk about that.
Well, with that group, it was kind of like every day we just clicked together. Like every practice, every workout we were in together, it was just like we knew what we were doing with each other, and it worked so well. So when it got into game, it was so easy with each other, and we were pushed every day in practice. So when it got to game, we were just so fluid with each other. Even when we were down, we knew how to communicate with each other and talk with each other and just come back and win.
But did it start like that, or how did that come together? I mean, things like that don't just happen, right? I mean, they build. So talk about where did that start?
So right out of my freshman year, we came together as a group, like we do every year, talked it over, and we started getting into practicing, and I started going with those 4 starters with the starting group, and we started working together. At first, it was a little rocky, and it was kind of I don't know how I feel about it, if I fit in, and soon they just started kind of taking me under their wing, telling me stuff at practice, giving me advice, and we just kind of like I said, we clicked, and then from there, every summer league game, fall league game, it was just easy for us.
Who's the first one that kind of, put their arm around you or put you under their wing as a senior? Do you remember the first time?
I would say I remember Eli specifically coming up to me when I mess up in practice, he'd be like, "You're good, just relax."
That's probably it. That's probably the only 2 things he would say.
Yeah, basically.
He's a man of few words, right?
Yeah, but they all came up. They all came and talked to me. But the one I vividly remember was Eli.
And so, what did that do to you as a young player to see these guys that are your leaders? They're the seniors, but you're obviously in that lineup, rightfully so. But for them to embrace the young guy, what was that like for you?
It felt good. It was I felt welcomed, and I was scared at first, obviously first year of varsity, but once they took me under, it felt really good, and I felt comfortable with them.
Right. And then, I think the other piece that maybe, not everyone sees about that group too, you guys are inseparable off the court too. It seemed like any game you guys are going to, I would see one of you guys, it would be another person or 2 or 3. You guys are always around each other, even not during the game. Talk about that.
Yeah, we were always with each other. It was just fun. We had that chemistry as a team to no matter who we were hanging out with, who we were with, it was always fun. So we always had a car full of guys, heading to a district game just to watch, or just going out to eat together, and then we just had a great time every time.
And you think that, did the off-the-court stuff, did that help with the chemistry?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And how quickly do you think, when did you know that, man, this is something special that we're a part of here?
I think, kind of coming out of, especially after that loss to Volcano in the Metro Championship, after that game, after seeing what we could do, and seeing how close were to our goal of beating them.
Right.
That specifically, that moment was really it clicked.
What about? Okay, I think the fascinating part for you, and I think when people talk about best players in the city, when your name's not mentioned, it's ridiculous. That personal opinion. This is one man's opinion, but when that name, you were immediately an impact in that lineup. It would be very easy for seniors, all of them very good, first team, second team players. It would be very easy to be the 5th wheel, the guy that no one has to guard, but that issue wasn't happening. From the opening tip, you were an impact in that lineup. Did you feel that right away? Or how long did it take the guys to realize, oh, yeah, no, he's one of us. He can run with us. Yeah. Baby Matador is just as good as the old Matador. It was immediate, but what did it feel like to you?
Well, from the start, it was kind of I didn't know how I'd fit in as well. And so I was kind of being kind of timid a little bit. But over the course of the season, I started feeling more I guess aggressive. And as that happened, I feel I could come out and give a good 15 a night. and help the team win, and like they have to come step up on me, and it just felt like it was more of a weapon, like they had an extra
Right.
weapon on the team.
What about, do you feel a burden or a responsibility? You're kind of the old man now, right? So
Yeah.
now those guys that kind of laid the groundwork of the culture and the program that Coach Brown wants there, now you're kind of the elder statesman and you're ushering in a bunch of younger, newer guys. You feel that pressure?
Yeah. Every day at practice, it's kind of like we're on a grind every day. We're trying to hold up to what we accomplished last season. Like right the day after state, we got in the gym, and that group we wanted to win badly. So every day we say when we break our huddles every day, it's sacrifice. It's we them, together. We're all just trying to like build that culture that we had last year and just keep building it up until
All right.
we're gone.
Has there been a moment already where you've had to like pull seniority and pull a young guy aside and say, hey, we don't do it this way, we do it this way? Has there been stuff like that already?
Yeah, a little bit. Just like it depends. Like sometimes we'll have a little mishap in practice. Some people get frustrated, do some things they regret. But it's like we get it on them, talk to them, and then we just solve the issue.
And is that a new challenge that you've embraced? Because I know you love the challenge of the gym. I know you love the challenge of what's happening on the floor. But now you have this other challenge of it's your team and the challenge of leadership. Is that a new challenge that you're embracing?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of new. Yeah, a new challenge is hard, but I'm embracing it and I'm taking it every step slowly.
All right, take our first time out with Thomas. We'll come right back, talk more hoops after this.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Back with Matador Thomas Adams. We're talking a little bit of hoops. We'll get back to that in a second. But first, we have this silly little thing we like to do on the program. You may have seen it. The top 5 list. Top 5 things we don't know about Thomas Adams. No limitations here. These can be all over the board, all over the map. Top 5 things we don't know about you. Number 5.
Probably that I like to be outdoors a lot.
Okay, an outdoorsman. Like, are we talking like 1 to 2 days of camping, or like the full in the woods all the time, like you're a redneck kind of person?
Like 1 to 2 days, like
Okay.
at the lake.
All right, a lake life. I could live the lake life. All right, I'm down with that. All right, number 4.
Probably that I like to play video games with my friends. Like
All right, video
racing,
games. What's your go-to?
Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are you the best on the team at that game?
100%, yeah.
Okay. Who are you calling if you want some competition? Who's your go-to?
Probably Mason.
Okay. Now, what about if you're short on money, and who are you calling then? Like, hey, let's play. $20 cash out
Ooh.
right now. If you had to take someone's money, who would you call?
Probably Zaire, to be honest.
Oh, so he's not good.
Yeah, he's not
trash.
good at nothing. No.
Okay, all right. Oh, wow, that went somewhere deep. All right, number 3.
I like to do stuff with like videography and stuff like that, like getting into like my own little thing, kind of like that.
Okay, what are we talking here? Audio, visual stuff. So we're talking video, we're talking audio. What are we talking?
More video, like kind of like
Okay.
for New Mexico in basketball. In
Okay.
a sense, yeah.
All right. So you might be producing some of your own mixtapes. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, maybe.
Stuff like that. All right. Cool. How'd you get into that?
Me, Mason, and Santana were talking about it just in the locker room one day.
Okay.
And I'm like, we could really do this.
Right.
It was one of those conversations where like we're just kind of just talking. But I was
Right.
like, I really want to do this. And Mason was down, so.
A lot of good basketball content has come from the players. I don't know if you remember a couple years ago when Las Cruces was making that run to the championship. It was actually one of their players that was putting out all their social media stuff, all their mixtapes,
Yeah.
all their player films. It was actually one of their dudes. It wasn't anybody else.
Yeah, it was Caden, right?
Right,
Caden
yeah.
Self?
Yeah, it was Caden Self. He did a really nice job, right?
Yeah.
All right, where are we at? Number two, things we don't know about Thomas Adams.
We got a 4.0 GPA.
My man.
Hold that for at least 2 years, yeah.
That's like not easy, right? Especially when you're doing sports year round. You're doing hoops, you're doing football. Like I don't think people understand the grind, right? So I mean, talk about that.
Well, it's like every morning football at like 6:30. Then you go to school, you do all school, and I got basketball practice. And then sometimes we'll be in the gym even after basketball. And then sometimes I'll just be in the gym a little extra. So I'm there from like sometimes 6:30
All
to
right,
like.
I'm not gonna let you get away with that. I hear you never leave the gym. Danny says you never leave. So I'm in the gym a little bit. I've heard otherwise. I've heard they've had to ask you to leave, that you're in there so much. So when do you even squeeze in homework and studying?
Right when I get home, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's impressive, and it's important, especially when it comes time for scholarships and the next level, right? So that's important. Has that always been a thing, a priority of yours? You know, you're just kind of disciplined that way, or is it like your parents are like, hey, you better get good grades or you're not playing? That was always like, my parents were like, you get good grades or you're never going to see the outside of this house.
Yeah.
That was my parents' motto, right? Like, where does it come from for you?
Yeah, my parents for sure, and especially Coach Brown. Like they're on me
Right.
constantly, so it's good.
Okay, number one thing we don't know about Thomas Adams.
I mean, I would say a lot of people know it, but I'm really like close with like my family. Like,
Okay, you're a family
being my
guy?
family, yeah.
So, like,
Just like hanging out with them.
just chilling with
doing
family,
everything.
that's important to you.
Sometimes I can't be because like I'm at school or in the gym,
Right.
but when I can, I try to at least embrace.
So
it.
when you do have some free time, you're a family guy to the
Yeah.
max, right? Okay, those are the 5 things we don't know about Thomas Adams. That was a well-rounded list. We went all over the place. Excellent job. All right, let's get back to hoops. We were talking about just the dynamics of the team this year. Obviously, you're going to have a leadership role on that team. I think the questions everyone asking, though, those 4 guys are gone. How good are the Matadors going to be this year?
Really good. I think we're gonna be almost to where we were last year. And I know that sounds very like cocky or something.
No,
I
it's
guess
good. It's good to
But,
be
like,
confident.
Yeah, confident. But like I really believe that we're gonna be a great team. We're like meshing well, like how we were last year.
Right.
And we hang out every day. The same thing. It's basically like the same thing last year. We're just working hard and well together, and it's just gonna be pretty good.
So it would be safe to say that Sandia's not just a team anymore. It really is a program. That culture is stuck.
100%, yeah.
All right, that's exciting to talk about. Football right now, right? You're in the midst of it. So talk about how that's going.
You know, it's going good. Obviously a rough week last week with Volcano, but other than that, we've been going to practice every day, been putting in work every day.
Have those always been your 2, football and basketball?
Yeah.
When did you start both of those?
I started basketball when I was like, I think 8 or 7 or something,
Okay.
and then football when I was like 9. Yeah.
All right, and when you were young, which was your favorite when you were young?
Definitely football, all the way up until high school actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Football, because I was more focused on it coming into 8th grade. I was gonna go to Volcano for football, but
Okay.
then we moved into far from Volcano.
Right,
Came back, talked to Coach Brown about basketball, and it just from there I just fell in love with it.
right. What is it about, I mean, you mentioned Coach Brown, right? Like, it's a pretty special group, pretty special place. I mean, it's no secret, Coach and I are pretty close friends, so I'm a big admirer of what he does there. You know, but what does he, explain that to our audience. What is it that he does that makes it a little different, special?
I'd say like thing about Coach Brown is he's just like constantly like wanting us to be better people, making us better people on or off the court. No matter what we're doing, he wants us to be our best selves. And that's kind of like, I say that's like a really like important aspect of him, as well as he he knows how to like talk to you, but also knows how to be on you, and he kind of just like mixes everything well, the strictness and the like that father figure kind of, and it just creates like a really great man that can lead you.
What about? Have you been in Coach Brown's doghouse before? What's the scariest? So tell us about that.
Yeah, I was in his doghouse for a little bit
Okay.
right before like last season.
All right,
It was
tell
bad.
us about that.
I just got in trouble. I was doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing, and like he found out, and I just got in trouble. It was bad. It's just like he didn't tell me happy birthday until a month later.
That's petty,
Yes.
Danny. That's some petty
But,
stuff right there.
I still love him. He still loves
Okay.
me. But we got over it. We talked about it. It was good. We're
Right.
good now. Yeah.
I think that's part of that accountability piece. Like that, you almost feel like you let him down when something like that happens, right?
Yeah.
You could see that he kind of builds that kind of family dynamic with the team. All right, let's go back a little bit to last season. Well, you were around as a freshman too, obviously, and it was a different team, so you saw how the team transitioned from freshman to sophomore year. Like, you came out of the gates clicking right away, but I want to talk about preseason. What were your guys' goals as a team? What was some goals you had as an individual? What did you talk about before the season? I know Sandia basketball's a year-round thing, so what were the goals heading into that year?
Yeah. So from that summer, my freshman year, we weren't as good. We were like a 9th seed. Like our team wasn't really like as well meshed together, and it wasn't something that we like were proud of, I guess. So coming into that new year, we wanted just to show everybody who we were, come out strong and hidden, like fast, like just beating teams out the water.
Right.
And individually, it was kind of like I just wanted to make sure I had a really key piece on that team and show them that I was a weapon as well.
Okay. And so, you guys get off to a nice start, obviously. Is the volcano thing a goal right away, or does it just kind of, become apparent, like, okay, we're the best two teams? Or is that a goal right off the bat already, or did it kind of just lead to that, like, hey, this is bound to happen, we're the best two teams?
I think it was kind of like, or it was like yeah, kind of like we were the best two teams, but also like we had to earn it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, so I want to talk about the rivalry a little bit when we get back. We'll take another break with Thomas. We'll be right back.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Back with Sandia's Thomas Adams. We're talking a little bit about last season and the rivalry with Volcano. So let's start there. I mean, there were other highlights of the season. We'll get to those. But those were pretty special games. So, I mean, take us back to that. Obviously, the brothers are the coaches, but, you guys are the players. So, yeah, that's special. That's cool. But it's still a game, right? And so what were those games like for you guys on the floor?
I think they were the most like intense games we had. They were like really competitive. We knew like each other's games very well because we scrimmaged each other a lot in the off season. So going into those games, we were just like, it's just like who's gonna come out and who wants it more.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Clovis tournament was the first of the season, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That was a tight one. So talk about that.
That game, it was kind of like shaky for us. Like we couldn't really rebound as well, and they were just like they have a really Kenyon and Sean, they were really
Right.
good together. So those two were really hard to stop off the glass, and transition was like hard, but we were getting our own, and it just came down to the kind of wire. I think it was a 2-point game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Metro tournament, obviously, that's the expected that you guys would see each other again. Was that the mindset heading into the Metro? And then tell us about that.
100%. Yeah. I think it was 3 weeks or something like that. Every practice it was just beat this team, then we're going to Volcano.
Right.
Like,
Now, on the way to Volcano, though, I mean, you guys, I thought one of the highlights of the season was the way you put it on Cleveland during the Metro tournament. That was, I don't want to say it was close to perfect, but if you look back at all the games you played that year, it seemed like there was a lot going. You couldn't miss that night as a team. That you guys were creating turnovers. I mean, is that a highlight? Is that something that stands out for you guys? It seemed like that game you guys really peaked well.
yeah, that was one of our best games for sure. We were all just there that night. Like everybody, even off the bench, all the starters, we were just like working so well together.
I think I remember I was watching that. I don't think I had that game. I was watching it. I remember sitting in the stands and turning to my friend saying, like, this is what this machine can do. If everything's going in, like this is the most entertaining product on the court in New Mexico. And I mean, you can put up 20 points like that, right? So you get back to Volcano in the rematch. Tell us about that championship.
Yeah, it was a big game. Like everybody was nervous. We were all ready for it though. So coming down from down that ramp, like we were just like immersed in the pit. And right when the game started though, like we clicked. We were ready. We came out strong, and obviously it didn't end up.
Well, I want to go back to the Metro tournament though. I want to go back to because there was a huge crowd for that game too, right? And so Volcano gets off to this huge lead, and then you guys just start chipping away.
Yeah, that's what, like that was the special moment that I was talking about earlier. Like that was when it felt like we could really like beat any team here, any team in the state.
And like that game is like, I'm not trying to take anything away from Volcano here, but that game, some questionable calls at the end, in my opinion, personal opinion. And you guys are chipping away, and you just ran out of time there. It seemed like if that thing goes another minute or two, the result flips, right? It'd take nothing away from Volcano. They won the game, no doubt. But did it feel like momentum, like, okay, man, we're going to win this thing, and then you just kind of ran out of time?
Yeah, 100%. It was like with those 5 seconds left in the end of the game, I'm like, we need to stop. And there was nothing we could really do. That's when the clock ran out. But, like, all the way leading up to that moment, I was like, we're winning this game, like, no doubt.
I remember because there was a lot of people leaving that fourth quarter because there was a Lobo game that night, if you recall.
Yeah.
That Saturday, the Metro Championship. My two friends were like, hey, man, we're going to the Lobo game. I'm like, nah, bro, they're coming. I can feel it. They're like, nah, dude, you're crazy. We're going to the Lobo game. Let's go. I'm like, no, they're coming. They're coming. And then there you go. You turn it on like you guys always do, and it ends as a thriller. And now take us to the pit game. You were starting to tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, once we got in the pit, like everything was like, before warm-ups, just immersed in it. It was beautiful. We were ready. We were all locked in. Got to the game. Started going off strong. We felt good all the way up until that fourth quarter. It kind of like dwelled on us a little bit, but.
Well, it's the now you take us in that locker room. I would imagine with a special group like that, especially with 4 of them seniors, that had to be pretty emotional locker room after the game.
Yeah, I think every single person in there was bawling their eyes out. It wasn't like a pretty sight. Honestly, the only person that wasn't was Lamarion. He was happy, but like. That's like just Mari. Mari just is like that. Like he was happy with what we did, what we accomplished, but everybody else though, like it was very emotional. Yeah, I could tell he was still sad, but it was so emotional. Like it just sucked. Like it felt like losing like a big chunk of your family.
And then I do remember after the season was over, I get a text from Danny like, man, these guys are together, like working out already. And you talked about that. So now the next chapter, it started. I mean, how were you the instigator there? Did you get on the phone and say, hey, let's go work out? Like, how did that happen? Or everyone just kind of organically wanted to get together?
Yeah, so that night in our group chat that we have, like just the players, we just talked about it. Like we were talking about the game, talking about our season, just everything. And then our younger guys and me, we were like, yeah, we need to start now. Like, and our older guys told us, like, you guys need to get in the gym now. If you want this, you got to come back tomorrow, start from there, and just keep going. And we all got in. We texted Coach Brown, and we just.
So I hear you do have this reputation, like they can't get you out of the weight room, like they cannot get you out of the weight room. So how much time are you putting in there? Like, I hear it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I say a pretty decent amount. Like I'm just trying to get stronger and better for the season. Trying to get more athletic. So yeah.
So if there's some 7th grader watching this program, and they're like, "Oh man, I need to have legs like Thomas Adams. I need to have, I need that lower base that could help me dominate." Like, what's leg day like for Thomas Adams?
A lot of like, you want me to go through the workouts? Or
Yeah.
Squats, split squats, jump rope, calf raises. I do a little bit of like plyometrics, a lot of plyometrics, especially with Coach Brown. Like, we do those too, but plyometrics, and then I kind of just keep doing that over and over. Yeah.
I always took Coach Brown as a hot yoga guy myself, but so he gets after it in the weight room.
Yeah, I heard he gets up at 4:30 in the morning, and then he does our workout, and then we have to do it in the 7th period.
Okay, all right, that's admirable. All right, and so what's next for Thomas Adams?
Just trying to win state championship, win with my team, work together, and just try to become a really great player in the state.
All right, next level. What are your interests there?
Yeah, I definitely want to play next level. I love that I was offered by Adams State, but
Adams State gets in early. Smart move on their part, I think, because this is going to be your breakout season. The few people that still don't know who you are, they're going to know this year, that's for sure. So Adams State's already interested. Well, I mean, you have a dream school. Obviously, everyone does. What's that like?
Yeah, dream school is just like, honestly, I could say not a specific dream school. I just want to play like high-level basketball.
Right. Yeah. And so whoever gives you that opportunity, you're certainly going to listen.
Yeah.
Right. What do you have to do? What does Thomas Adams have to do to get better this year?
Honestly, just stay in the gym, work well with my teammates, get my teammates in the gym for sure, push them to be their best, push me to be my best, and then just keep doing that consistently.
Well, we'll be watching. This is a big Thomas Adams fan club here at Local Focus, man. I appreciate you making the time. Thank you for watching, everyone, and good night.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.